All right, now we're gonna get into our punch drag series. Okay, so a punch drag, right, usually when my defender's either on my hip, right, or I just wanna have a stop, right, trying to create space. So right now it's gonna be right foot, right, ball in my right hand, I wanna punch right off that foot. Most important thing with this punch drag, right, is being able to punch it not in front so their hands can get active on the ball, right, but punching it right on the heel to where now my leg protects it. Okay, the first move we're gonna work out of our punch drag, we're gonna go punch, and then I wanna lift. When I lift, I'm delayed, and then I wanna drop again and attack. So if that defender stays on this side of my frame, I would lift, right, drop, and attack. So right now within this stuff, we want you guys to be creative here. All right, do what you guys wanna do, where every move right now is gonna be that punch drag, right, into that lift, and then it's your finish at the rim. So the concentration of this, right, is that punch drag. Oh. Oh. Hey. Okay, now same thing on a punch drag. Now when we get into that delayed lift, right, I want to punch, I lift up, left, right. If I feel that defender push across my frame, I want to load on this foot, right, which is my right, and then be able to exchange through and get downhill, right? Again, the only thing that we're working on right now is that punch, delayed. I'm into that load, right, on that drop, loading on my right. They push across, I'm going to be able to attack that angle right away. Exchange through. Important thing, your right foot has to stay in the ground. Okay, so I want to try to attack that angle as quick as I can. When you're up here, do whatever you want. Same thing on the finishes, whatever you feel like. Okay, thing we're working on, punch drag with that delayed drop, and then I want to get into that load exchange. Here. All right. So it's almost the same footwork as, you know what I mean? Yeah. Go into our punch drag, right? Same thing we've been working on. When I punch drag now and they cross my frame, I want to have that ability to go laterally into space, right? So right now, I want to lift off that left foot. I'm going to land in more of an open drop, okay? So my feet are squared, but I'm loaded. My feet are wide, so I'm explosive. I'm going to load on that foot, and then I want to have that ability to push across my frame into space. Okay, so once I push, I immediately get into that open drop, and I want to be able to push that ball. Ooh. All right, good. Now, if that punch drag, right, I want to punch drag, that defender crosses my frame and I don't have the ability now to get downhill. I want to lift off that left foot, lift, I land now in more of an inverted drop. So ball's behind my frame. That's going to give me more space away from that defender, and it's going to give a path for that ball to be able to push and then get downhill in unoccupied space. So it's a great move, right, with that footwork if I'm trying to create a little bit more space I'm landing in this drop to when they close, I have that ability to immediately push and then get downhill into space to make either a shot for myself or my teammates. Okay, now I want to get into that punch drag, right? We're going to get into a cross off this. This cross is going to be a little different within our footwork. So I want to punch, right? As I punch right here, I want to lift and I want to land on that right. Okay, when I land on that right, I want to immediately skip my right outside my frame. Okay, so now, right, I become wider than my defender. They have to cover and guard more length. Okay, so this is how you're going to be able to create angles. So I want to punch. If they stay center frame on you, I lift, and then I want to quick hit my right outside my frame, loading, right? They shift that angle. I push across my hips, load across into that left. Now if they come across my frame, I have that ability to cross over. So the important thing is having the ability to hang that ball outside my frame, right, as my feet is tapping, and then I'm getting into that cross. Hey! Okay, now we're going to go into a punch drag, right? If that defender immediately pushes across my frame and gives me space, I want to punch, and then I want to place my feet under my frame. So as I punch off that left, I immediately land onto, that's going to give me balance. It's also, right, going to create a little bit more space and maintain space as we do this. All right, so if I'm punching, right, and obviously I'm going downhill, right, I want to be able to stop that momentum. That defender shifts in front of me. I immediately get to that replacement, right, off that punch drag. So feet hit the ground as that ball is getting picked up. Right, you obviously have that ability right here to get into counters if you need to. That's why we want to work on having that pickup timing off that right hand as my feet hit the ground. Okay, now we're going to get into a foot replacement, right, which is going to be our single foot replacement off that punch drag. So I want to punch, right? That defender gives me a little bit of space. Maybe they're a longer defender, and I want to be able to create more space. I want to punch. The ball's going to float outside my frame. I want to land my right foot where my left was. Okay, so that's our single foot replacement. I punch. I have that lift moment as the ball's outside my frame floating. And then I want to tap that right foot, and that's going to propel me into space. So we're making almost that V step back. Right? The most important thing is making sure that ball's hanging outside our frame. Right? So we have that ability to use our feet and then also have that ability to counter. So we really want to work on those late pickups. Right? We don't want to get here, punch, pick the ball up, and then get into our step back. We want to hang and float, so I have that ability to counter off that.